Regression to the means.
Regression to the memes.
Financial markets are social things, now more than ever.
Financial markets are social things, now more than ever.
S&P 500 may be setting new highs.
The S&P 500 may be setting new highs.
But to really take the measure of market exuberance,
But to really take the measure of the market's exuberance,
but to really take the measure of market exuberance,
but to really take the measure of market exuberance,
look no further than Nyan Cat.
look no further than Nyan Cat.
The animated meme
Encoded cryptographically into what is known as non-fungible token,
and which is unique and distinct from unencrypted versions of the animation.
and which is
Into what is known as a non-fungible token, and which is unique and distinct from unencrypted versions of the animation.
and which is unique and distinct from unencrypted versions of the animation that can be found with a quick internet search.
Was recently sold at auction for nearly $600,000.
Other odd collectibles are booming too.
Some sports cars of relatively recent vintage
Some sports cars of relatively recent vintage now fetch millions of dollars.
The prices of rare Pokemon cards have left.
The prices of rare Pokemon cards have left.
New trading platforms backed by celebrity investments are getting in on the action.
New trading platforms backed by celebrity investments are getting in on the action.
The expanding mania may look like worrying evidence.
Of a rise in the appetite for risk, and perhaps it is.
Yet it also illustrates the increasingly social nature of investing.
Yet it also illustrates the increasingly social nature of investing
And poses new questions for financial economics. Markets are not fine-tuned instruments of capital allocation.
Markets are not fine-tuned instruments of capital allocation.
Rational traders are not always willing or able
To bet against nonsensical market moves.
Behavioral economists have identified a wide variety of cognitive biases.
Behavioral economists have identified a variety of cognitive biases
that can lead investors to trade in irrational ways.
People overestimate their abilities.
Are reluctant to realize losses even when prudence dictates that they should.
And overreact to small movements in prices.
To take just a few examples.
Yet these sorts of bias do not seem fully to explain Yes, such these sorts of biases do not seem fully to explain
the strangeness of pricey digital cats.
of the strangeness of pricey digital cats, or an unprompted roller coaster ride
For the old economy retailer like GameStop.
for the old economy retailer like GameStop. For the stock of an old economy retailer like GameStop. As David Hirschleiner of the University of California, Irvine, noted in 2014, that it may be time to move beyond behavioral finance to social finance. What might that mean?
A social finance could simply be one in which the social transmission of information
A social finance could simply be one in which social transmission of information
has an important effect on markets' toings and froings.
In a paper, Mr. Hirschleiner suggests, for example, that shifts in norms regarding trading successes, shifts in norms regarding open discussions of successful trading could decide which sorts of strategies spread and how. That in turn might influence the appetite for risk across the market as a whole. Financial professionals would not be surprised to learn that social transmission of information is important. The need to be close to the buzz of informal market chatter is one reason why financial sector activity tends to be concentrated in hubs like London and New York. Yet social transmission could serve more than just a conduit for shop talk. Indeed, one person's decision to make a particular investment could cause those around him more likely to follow suit. Could cause those around him to become more likely to follow suit. Investors following others' lead could do so because they have learned something from their peers about a particular asset. You might take the plunge into cryptocurrency, for example, after discovering that it exists and hearing about its mechanics from a friend. Peer effects.
Peer effects may also reflect a desire to keep up with the Joneses.
Peer effects may also reflect a desire to keep up with the Joneses,
either to demonstrate that you are as financially savvy
as other people in your social circle,
or to avoid the embarrassment of missing out on financial gains,
or to avoid the embarrassment of missing out on investment,
that your peers have been clever enough to grab.
that your peers have been clever enough to grab. Evidence turned up
to illustrate this investment contagious.
Research turns up evidence of this sort of investment contagion
During America's housing boom.
Analyzing the data from Los Angeles metropolitan area,
The authors find that residents became 8% more likely
the authors found that residents became 8% more likely
to take up property investment within the year.
to take up property investment within the year.
For every neighbor living within a tenth of a mile
For every neighbor living within a tenth of a mile
who invested in housing.
who invested in housing.
But someone might also wish to invest in the same thing as others
Because of the opportunity for joint consumption.
That is, a person may derive enjoyment from an investment
because it creates the opportunity to talk about the investment with others and to revel in the shared experience.
That certainly explains why hobbyists of various sorts,
like baseball card collectors and Pokemon enthusiasts,
might become involved in speculation,
swapping cards or gabbing about price movements
is simply another way to bond with others in the shared pursuit,
over shared pursuits.
The rise of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies
has likewise been enabled by tight-knit communities who share their experiences and see the participation in the crypto world as part of their identity. As the GameStop episode showed,
trading as a fun group activity has spilled over
into the state world of company stocks,
helped along by growth in retail trading platforms and social media.
The video game retailer shares jumped around
to $400 in a fortnight. $40. $40. The video game retailer's shares jumped from around $40.
the video game the video game retailer's share the video game retailer shares jumped from around $40
to $400
to $400 in a fortnight,
on virtually no news,
powered in part by the activity of online communities,
like the Wall Street Bets forum on Reddit, a social media site.
like a Wall Street Bet forum on Reddit, a social media website.
For many of the people sharing information about their bets and cheering each other on,
For many people, sharing information about their bets and cheering each other on,
financial gains or losses seem secondary to the sheer joy of being part of the group.
financial losses or gains seem secondary to the sheer joy of being part of a group.
Investing became a consumption experience.
Investing became a consumption experience.
Not everyone may have felt it was worth the price of admission, though.
Not everyone felt it was worth a price of admission,
particularly after GameStop shares sank back to earth.
particularly after GameStop shares sank back to earth.
An increasingly social finance raises thorny questions for policymakers.
And increasingly social investment raises thorny questions for policymakers.
How easy should it be for novices to join?
How easy should it be for novices to join
In the financial market equivalent of a flash mob.
in the financial market equivalent of a flash mob?
How should the financial power
wielded by social media influencers be regulated?
Does the rise of investment as a mass social activity
Thus the
influencers be regulated? Does the rise of investment as a mass social activity
Thus the rise of investment as mass social activity
pursued for kicks as much as financial
financial gains
threaten financial markets' ability to direct money to productive ends.
Yet it is also worth remembering
that traders and markets have always been social beasts.
a small fortune spent on an encrypted video of a cat.
Maybe less a sign of worrying change.
Than a window onto how finance has always worked.